Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good to be here with you, and hear the waves around me kind of fluttering around. A boat just came by. So I was reading this morning in 2 Corinthians 5:21 where it says that God made Christ to be an offering for our sin. So I was thinking about what that means this morning, and it's a devotion that I wrote inside of our Join Days band area, and it's kind of amazing to think about it and to think about what that looks like and what that means, and what, I'm not sure I ever thought about this, or I thought thinking about like, hey, why did God do this? Right, hold on, let me get back to land here so I can actually have a conversation. So I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about like what this looks like. And I come down to the water and I kind of try to be a little introspective, but mainly it's just about spending some time with God and just talking to him and seeing what he's got to say. And this morning, this devotion that I wrote came up in my email, as it always does, because I get if you guys are members, you understand what this is. Like, I get all of the emails that you guys get, just to make sure it's all functioning properly and making it work and all that stuff. So this morning, this devotion came in, and I try to read them every day. I write them, and then I try to read them to make them almost applicable in my life. And so I'm reading this one, and it says, it's based on 2 Corinthians 5:21. And it says, God made Christ to be the offering for our sin. And then I'm trying to think about like, okay, I get that. And then on top of that, it says, God made Christ to be the offering for our sin so that we could be made right in his eyes, or in his sight. And that kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. Because if you think about that, and think about our own selfish foolishness, the mistakes that we make, the hurt that we bring into other people's lives sometimes, the hurt that we bring into our own lives sometimes, and all this stuff. And God, in his goodness, made Christ and said, hey, that's it. Here is the offering for your sin. And I've done this so that you can be made right in my eyes. And I'm kind of left, again, just a little bit speechless on that, because think about yesterday and your sin yesterday. And you could say, yesterday was a pretty good day. I didn't sin too much, or I didn't sin at all. And then you have to be honest with yourself and say, well, maybe I did sin a little bit. Maybe there was some pride, or there was some greed, or there was some lust or jealousy or envy, all that stuff. And so God, says, hey, Paul in Corinthians says, God made Jesus to be the sacrifice for all of the sin, and even the sins that we don't know about. And so I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about what that looks like, what it means, and just asking from a human perspective, why, But the beauty of our Father is that we don't know why, and we I don't profess to even begin to understand why, because he's God and I'm not, and it's just an incredible thing. So I just wanted to bring that up today, okay? 2 Corinthians 5:21 is our verse. So go maybe meditate on that today and read it. But God made Jesus to be an offering for our sin and for the sin that we struggle with every single day. And then so that we could be made right in the eyes of the Father. So it's almost like you sin, I sin, and then somebody else comes along and says, I've got you. Okay, so to put it into a human perspective, okay, you go and you steal something, you get caught, and then somebody else comes along and says, you know what, when let's say you're sitting in court and you're on trial and all this stuff, and somebody else comes along and like in the middle of the trial, you're stating your case and all this stuff, and then somebody else comes in and says, you know what, he wasn't there, I was, and I was the one who did that crime. I will take the punishment for that crime. And then you get to walk out of there free, and that other person pays the price, does the time, takes the punishment for you. And so that's what I'm wrestling with this morning. Maybe I'm wrestling with gratitude, and I'm wrestling with the fact that I don't deserve that, but I get it. And God and his grace and his goodness and his mercy and his love and just everything he gives to us just says, I've got you and you're good. And yeah, you screw up, you mess up, you fall apart. And yet you're still right in my eyes. When I see you, I still see Jesus, which I can't even begin to fathom what that looks like and what that all means. And of course it's like, well, okay, that's all well and good. And yet we still fall and we still sin. I was just listening to Solo Worship Volume 4. I'm recording this on the day that it releases, so March 1st. And if you haven't got a copy yet, go grab a copy. It's over at soloworship.com. Just grab a copy right there. But I was listening, I recorded on that album a song called Chainbreaker. And the lyrics are all about just, if you feel lost, if you feel broken, if you feel, all this stuff, if you feel like you're stuck in addiction and stuck in all this stuff that we can't get out of, our God sent Jesus to break those chains and give us the strength and the hope that we need. And yet even that, think about, expand that thought just a little bit. Good song. I'm not going to knock the song. Fun song to sing. But the message inside of it is a little deeper. It's like, let's see. Okay, so God is our chain breaker. Great. Okay, got it. But think beyond that. And before you were even born, God knew that he was going to send Jesus all those years ago, so that your sin that you're struggling with now today can be A, broken, but B, he's not even seeing that sin because Jesus died already for that sin. Right? Okay. So he knew that I was going to commit that sin yesterday. And yet thousands and thousands of years ago, he died for that sin so that God couldn't hold me accountable for that sin in the midst of my own stupidity. So what do we have to say to that? Thank you. And when I say I'm wrestling with gratitude, it's like I don't quite deserve all of it, and yet I still get it. And so that's the beauty and the grace of the Father. And it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. So anyway, chat about that with yourself today. Think about that today. Think about 2 Corinthians 5:21. Go check it out, meditate on it, live with it for a minute, talk to God about it, get excited about it, because it's an incredible, incredible verse. In the midst of our stupidity and our mistakes and our foolishness and just all the dumb stuff that we do, our Father still says, you're good. You're good. I'm looking at Jesus right now, not you, which is just incredible. So anyway, that was a thought for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here and being a part of this. If you want to join us, please do head over to joindaysbandonline.com. And you can get involved in our membership right there. That's kind of our entry-level membership. It's all the digital stuff that we have, over 400 hours of content, videos like this, devotions, written devotions, worship videos, over 150 Bible studies that are over an hour long each. And you get to download every album that I've ever made. So I think it's like 16 or 17 records in there that you can download. And you get access to our community. And the first few dollars of your membership goes straight to helping us sponsor a child and saving a life and giving a kid food and clothing and clean water and health care. So go check that out. joindaysbandonline.com. And today, join us. We'd love to have you with us. It's an incredible ministry that God has just blessed us with, and we're continuing to push forward as long as we can. So we just want you to be a part of it. So today, 2 Corinthians 5:21. Be convicted by the verse, but be more thankful about it. Be more thankful about it, and just kind of rest in the grace of the Father and the goodness that He just continues to pour into us as we continue to screw up every single day, but as He continues to pour His grace into us every single day. It's a beautiful, just incredibly beautiful thing. All right, guys, I'll take a few pictures around here and maybe shoot some video. And if you're up in the Northeast right now and you're struggling with some snow, I get it. I'll be back up there sometime next week, so I'll be right there with you. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you on the next one.